in the morning.
Welcome to our channel, where we uncover the most scandalous secrets of Genoa. Today is a great day to delve into the hidden corners of families. Claire's outrage upon discovering her mother is still close to her ex-boyfriend, and whether Claire will lose control when confronted with this harsh truth. So sit back, lean in, and join us as we explore the untold truths. Did you know that the most devastating betrayals are rarely announced with a shout, but rather, they begin with the quietest of whispers? There is a storm brewing in Genoa City, and it is entirely centered around a taboo connection that no one ever saw coming. Let me let you in on a little secret, something that has been simmering beneath the surface, completely hidden from the prying eyes of the public. We all know that Carl Abbott and Victoria Newman recently called a fragile truce amidst the bitter, endless warfare between Victor Newman and Jack Abbott. It was supposed to be a purely professional, diplomatic ceasefire, but something that few people notice is how quickly a corporate truce can morph into a dangerous, intoxicating personal entanglement. And the one person who is standing right in the crossfire of this forbidden attraction is none other than Claire Newman, the young woman who still harbors deep and resolved feelings for the Abbott heir. Come closer, because you need to picture this exact moment. It happened at Crimson Lights, a place so familiar to all of us, yet suddenly the setting for a heartbreaking revelation. Claire had just walked in, seeking nothing more than a warm cup of coffee and a moment of peace. But as she glanced toward a secluded corner of the patio, her eyes locked onto a sight that made her blood run cold. There were Carl and Victoria, sitting far too close for mere business associates. Did you notice how the air between them seemed to crackle with an unspoken, electric tension? It was not just a friendly greeting. It was an intimate, lingering embrace, followed by hushed, breathless whispers that completely ignored the bustling world around them. Claire stood frozen in the shadows, her heart hammering against her ribs. Her gaze lingered much longer than it should have, her mind desperately trying to rationalize the inappropriate intimacy she was witnessing between her own mother and the man she still loves. And this is the part that kept me awake at night. The sheer psychological torment that Claire must have experienced in that single, agonizing moment. We are all addicted to the drama of this show, but watching Claire process this visual betrayal is on an entirely different level of heartbreak. She has always placed Victoria on an impossibly high pedestal. Victoria is the mother who forgave her for her darkest past mistakes, the woman who fought to bring her into the Newman fold. To see that same mother leaning into the personal space of Carl Abbott, sharing a secret smile that spoke volumes of hidden desires, was a shattering blow to Claire's fragile reality. She tried to convince herself that she was overreacting, that her lingering feelings for Carl after her rejected proposal were simply clouding her judgment. But the seed of suspicion had been planted deep within her soul, and it was already beginning to sprout into a dark, obsessive need for the truth. Let me whisper another secret to you. When a woman like Claire feels the sting of betrayal, she does not simply walk away. She transforms into a meticulous investigator. The initial shock quickly gave way to a burning, undeniable curiosity. Claire decided that she needed undeniable proof before she could confront the nightmare unfolding before her eyes. She began to quietly, invisibly investigate the so-called working relationship between Carl and Victoria. It is fascinating, is it not, how the mind works when it is fueled by jealousy and fear. Claire started looking for the subtle signs of collaboration that existed entirely outside the strict boundaries of Newman Enterprises and Abbott corporate affairs. She became a ghost in her own family's company, silently observing, listening, and piecing together the puzzle of this scandalous affair. Something that few people notice is how much information is hidden in the mundane details of daily schedules. Claire, utilizing her access and her sharp intellect, began to cross-reference Victoria's meticulously planned Newman executive calendar with Carl's movements. What she found was a pattern that would make anyone's stomach drop. There were unexplained gaps in their afternoons, sudden, last-minute cancellations of important meetings, and overlapping private appointments that conveniently aligned in both time and location. As we watch this unfold, it is impossible not to feel the same addictive thrill of the hunt that Claire is experiencing. Every mismatched calendar entry, every vague excuse written in the corporate logs, painted a terrifyingly clear picture of two people desperately carving out stolen moments together in the shadows of Genoa City. But Claire did not stop at the schedules. I know, she dug even deeper into the digital footprint of this forbidden romance. Did you know she managed to subtly access the corporate email servers? She began scanning the correspondence between the Newman CEO and the Abbott heir. On the surface, the emails were draped in heavy corporate jargon, discussing supply chains, truces, and market fluctuations. But when you read between the lines, as Claire so astutely did, the subtext was dripping with a dangerous, flirtatious energy. There were coded references to late-night negotiations and private venues that had absolutely nothing to do with business. The sheer audacity of Victoria and Carl using their corporate truce as a smokescreen for their personal desires is staggering. Claire sat in the dim light of her room, reading these messages, feeling the agonizing sting of betrayal with every keystroke. The emotional weight of this discovery was simply too massive for Claire to carry alone, and this is the part that kept me awake at night, thinking about the absolute isolation she must have felt. Desperate for an anchor in this storm, Claire sought out a trusted friend, pulling them into a quiet, secluded corner to share her horrifying suspicions. Can you imagine the hushed, trembling tone of her voice as she confessed what she had seen and what she had found? She poured out her heart, her tears falling freely as she articulated the impossible reality. Her mother was stealing her first true love. The friend listened in stunned, breathless silence, offering advice and emotional support, but ultimately validating Claire's deepest fears. This conversation was not just a release of pent-up agony, it was the moment Claire solidified her resolve. She was no longer just a suspicious observer, she was a woman preparing for war. Then came the turning point, the small, unexpected discovery that shattered any remaining illusions. Let me tell you about the clue that sealed their fate. While continuing her covert investigation, Claire stumbled upon a seemingly insignificant detail that changed everything. It was a private, encrypted calendar invite that had been carelessly left and hidden on a shared server, or perhaps a physical receipt from an exclusive, highly romantic boutique hotel tucked away in Victoria's personal belongings. This was no corporate meeting, this was a definitive, undeniable footprint of a romantic rendezvous. The realization hit Claire with the force of a freight train. The puzzle was complete. The picture was clear. The taboo romance between Victoria Newman and Carl Abbott was not a paranoid fantasy. It was a cold, hard, devastating fact. We are completely addicted to the emotional explosions on this show, and the build-up to this confrontation is a masterclass in psychological tension. Claire spent days agonizing over her next move. How do you confront your own mother about sleeping with your ex-lover? How do you look the man you once wanted to marry in the eye and demand to know why he chose the woman who gave birth to you? The internal storm raging within Claire was magnificent and terrifying. She watched Victoria parade around the Newman offices with her usual icy, untouchable authority, knowing the dirty, scandalous secret hiding beneath that designer exterior. She watched Carl play the role of the exhausted, noble Abbott heir, knowing he was finding his solace in the most forbidden arms imaginable. Claire bided her time, waiting for the perfect, inescapable moment to strike. And this is the part that kept me awake at night, replaying the inevitable collision of these three characters. The confrontation finally happened, and it was a scene of unparalleled, breathtaking drama. Claire chose her moment with surgical precision, cornering Carl and Victoria together when they thought they were completely safe from prying eyes. Imagine the sudden, suffocating silence in the room as Claire stepped out of the shadows, her eyes blazing with a mixture of profound heartbreak and righteous fury. They are instantly turned to ice. Carl froze, the color draining from his handsome face, while Victoria's legendary composure fractured into a million pieces. For a long, agonizing moment, no one spoke. The weight of the secret hung between them, heavy and suffocating. Did you know that the most powerful weapon a betrayed woman possesses is the cold and varnished truth? Claire did not yell. She did not scream. Instead, she used a voice that was eerily calm, trembling only slightly with the immense emotional weight of her words. She laid out everything she knew. She detailed the lingering embrace at Crimson Lights, the matching calendar gaps, the coded emails, and the final, undeniable clue that proved their affair. She demanded a clear, honest explanation for the true nature of their relationship. The whispering, secretive bubble that Carl and Victoria had built around themselves popped with a violent, emotional bang. Watching Claire systematically dismantle their lies was both triumphant and deeply tragic. Something that few people notice is the subtle shift in power during moments of absolute exposure. Victoria, usually the master of any room she enters, was rendered completely speechless by her daughter's relentless interrogation. The mother who had once been Claire's savior was now standing before her as a guilty, exposed hypocrite. Victoria tried to mount a defense, tried to wrap her actions in the complicated excuses of loneliness, corporate stress, and unexpected connections, but Claire was immune to the manipulation. She looked at her mother not with anger, but with a profound, devastating disappointment that cut deeper than any shouted insult ever could. The pedestal had not just cracked, it had been pulverized into dust. Carl, too, faced the wrath of the woman he had once held so dear. He could barely meet Claire's gaze, the guilt radiating from him in palpable waves. He had sought refuge from the chaotic Abbott family drama in Victoria's arms, never fully considering the catastrophic collateral damage it would cause to Claire. As Claire demanded answers, Carl's silence was a damning confession in itself. The tension in the room was so thick you could cut it with a knife. This was not just a lover's quarrel. This was the destruction of fundamental trust. Claire's confrontation forced Carl and Victoria to look at the ugly, selfish reality of their actions, stripping away the romanticized illusion of their forbidden connection. The fallout from this single, explosive confrontation threatens to rewrite the entire landscape of Genoa City. Did you know that a secret of this magnitude cannot be contained within the walls of a single room? The personal devastation is only the beginning. The fragile, newly formed truce between Newman Enterprises and Abbott is now resting on a ticking time bomb of emotional volatility. How can Kyle and Victoria possibly maintain their corporate diplomacy when their personal lives have been blown apart by this revelation? Furthermore, the mother-daughter bond between Victoria and Claire, a relationship that survived the darkest traumas of the past, is now facing an existential threat. Can Claire ever truly forgive her mother for crossing the ultimate boundary? Can Victoria ever regain the moral high ground she so desperately clings to? Let me whisper one final thought to you, my fellow addicts of this beautiful, chaotic drama. The story of Claire, Kyle, and Victoria is far from over. In fact, this confrontation is merely the opening battle in what promises to be a long, brutal emotional war. We are all captivated by the sheer audacity of this storyline, and able to look away as these powerful characters navigate the ruins of their own making. The secrets have been dragged into the light, the lines have been drawn, and the consequences will be legendary. Keep your eyes wide open and your ears tuned to the whispers, because in Genoa City, the truth is always more dangerous than the lie.